All right, everybody. DM Will, here you go. Take over.
Hey, everybody. We're back. This is session 7. Little inside joke if you're on our Instagram, it's not session 6, and that's on YouTube now. We start every session while Putin's being a dick, just remembering that Ukraine is under attack. So
Yeah.
it's terrible, but it's another 2 weeks and another 2 weeks of tears and frustration, I'm sure. But on better news, Patrick and Andrew are right on the other side of that wall because I'm in San Antonio area, Texas.
Area?
He almost
Question
knocked,
mark?
he almost knocked artwork off the wall trying to make a joke.
Yeah, and you shouldn't because these posters are really nice. So just leave those there. But yeah, I've been here. If you guys have been following us on Twitch, we've done like, I don't know, almost 5-6 hours worth of content while I've been sitting here. You're going to get a whole stream of videos on YouTube in the next week or two. So if you haven't watched all the previous episodes of D&D, all of our first 6 episodes are already on YouTube. This will be on there next week, but you should stick around, hang out. And then next week, there's going to be Star Wars content, I think. Some fun live drawing in the next couple of weeks, I think.
A lot of
This is
content for
such
Star
a
Wars
great-
happens tomorrow.
I don't know why I'm whispering.
A lot of Star Wars content happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like a big,
So-
chunky Star Wars piece of content happens tomorrow.
So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be great.
I mean, you
I'm
do know. You
confused.
just spent all
just told you.
the last couple days.
Oh, is that going live tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. So you can tell we've also not been sleeping much. So if I'm a little behind and loopy, sorry.
Cool.
And then last thing before we just jump right back into our campaign is Tracy couldn't make it tonight, so we missed Tracy a whole bunch. Hopefully she can join us in 2 weeks. Tracy's character is going to be following along with us the whole time, but she just won't have any agency. So you guys are going to have to make a whole bunch of decisions that will impact her because she is with you guys. So last week we ended. You guys had fought that cyborg spider. You guys saw the display of 1,000 faces speaking to you at once. You saw walls disappear that you thought were physical, but maybe were virtual. You guys, 2 sessions ago, Andrew had Eris rip off his arm with a machine and replace it with a fake arm. And we saw how that could be used to protect him in like emergency situations. What else am I missing? Is there any other like hot?
I almost was a puppet.
Oh yeah, the spider cyborg almost consumed you. They had a wire put into you. So yeah, a lot of like creepy things that you guys had never experienced before were experienced in this kind of underbelly of the 4th ring. And where we ended last week was you guys meeting up with Elle again. And you're kind of still in that underbelly underneath the apartment you guys kind of went into, cleared out, and entered that hole that you guys had found in the floor. So let's just start what you guys want to do.
Oh, right before they told us, now that you've went through hell, come back. We don't need you to do it anymore. That part.
Oh, you mean the hammers, oak belly?
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like you don't need to do it anymore. It was like the things that you're seeing are very similar to the things all the other groups have been seeing. And like we need to like pack up and get out of here. And I think one thing you might have heard while you were doing this was like Oakbelly's excited, right? Oakbelly has been yearning to get off this station and go to the Hammers like flagship. So he's ready. So he was like, "Come on out, meet me where you guys met me at that corner that we did maybe 4 sessions ago." So is there anything you guys want to do before you return to the Hammer? Yes,
I
Wendy?
think
I think
ended
we
back
said
where
that you guys just
Tracy
made.
was.
Yeah, I think we said that you just went back to Tracy. If there's other stuff you want to do, we can.
So we're basically, at least what I was thinking, in that room that we dropped down into.
I might not be able to show you that map. I might have accidentally deleted it. Oh no, wait.
It's okay. Andrew drew the entire thing in his notes. Right, Andrew?
Okay. So that's like the big over map with all of it displayed. So I believe we said you guys ended up in this left side here, if we're sharing the map on Twitch. Okay.
I'm going to. Is it on lockdown? Sorry. Is this still locked down? Because
You
remember
guys,
when we went in, it was locked down.
you guys wouldn't know yet. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Why'd you give me a strength check?
I guess I'm asking because aren't we low on like health? I want to call them health potions, but
No,
equip.
you're unable to pick. You can move it, but you're unable to pick it up with one arm. Okay, give me a strength check.
And hernia.
Oh, I do. No worries. Yeah, you don't even move it. Potentially, you picked up a different box that was heavier, but it's frustrating. It would have been funny enough that I think I wish you lied. You were like, "I got 20." All right. So, yeah, you guys, Eris, yeah, you realize your arm isn't giving you any extra strength. Cool. So what do you guys wanna do? Do you wanna exit, go
Besides shaking my head at them, yeah, let's exit the building.
Yeah. So as you guys exit, the apartment looks identical. You exit. You've probably been down there for many hours at this point. But when you get to the main street and look down like the main drag, you do see that the big gates that have closed off your district are now open again, and people are moving around like normal. As you make your way through those crowds, you do see Oakbelly on the corner waiting for you guys. But where he looked like battle worn and scarred, he looks like all those things are like reopened, right? He's covered in blood. He's holding his side and he's got like a bag of stuff in his hands.
In the open of just everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And he pulls out a whole bunch of things that you guys don't even recognize. And he's like, I've been collecting all these things from the groups that have done their scourging. What have you guys found? What can I have? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so he takes the 2 chips from you and he goes, "Did you find these in the back of heads?" Yeah, it's like, "Alright, alright," and he puts those in, and he goes, "The knife just looks." The side. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be one of you too.
yeah, and he's like, "Oh, yeah. Where did you find this?" And he puts it in his bag. Yeah.
Too bad I took it.
And then while he takes it, he looks at your arm and he goes, "Looks like you found something a little special in there, huh?" Yeah, he smacks you. He's like, "What do you think you're doing?"
I think we
He's
took
like,
a
"This is all
picture.
evidence. I'm gonna bring it with us."
We
And he
took
yeah. Yeah, you look a little twitchy, bud. Um, yeah, and he's like, "Is there anything else you guys found? Anything else you wanna tell me about before we make our way?"
we got a
Bag
picture
of
of that
dicks.
spider thing.
What was that, Ray?
We got a picture of that spider thing. If you want
Yeah,
to see it.
so you show him the phone, and he's like, "That I haven't seen before." Alright, let's get going. Let's go, like, we'll provide all this information when we get to the flagship. So he grabs you guys, and he starts, like, walking pretty fast, and what he's doing is he's bringing you through the crowds to one of the elevators to get off of the 4th ring. Um, he looks at you guys and goes, "Do you guys need to do anything before we get out of here?"
Health. we need health.
And he goes, that will be waiting for you.
Okay, I'm good.
I ask him, yeah, do you have my character sheet?
He's like, sorry, kid. And as he does it, he takes his ID and opens up the elevator. And what you guys see is all the elevators are these tubes and they're single occupancy. And he just says, like, all right, guys, let's get on. And one by one, he's wanting you to enter the ring or enter the elevator to bring you up to the terminal ring. So who wants to go first?
Wait. He's waiting
Don't
for
love
us
that.
to enter?
Yeah, like he's using his ID to get you guys off the fourth ring and going.
Unlike normal, Aslan, who stays back, jumps right ahead and gets in there. She wants out.
Are we going up to the higher? We're going up to the like we're going up. We're moving on up.
Yeah, and he explains like, yeah, we have to get to our ship on the terminal ring. And the terminal ring is kind of the tourist ring, right? That's the ring that all incoming ships go to. He has a ship at like the hangars there. So what he's doing is he's using his ID to kind of expedite your trip. He was getting you guys off this ring because his instructions were to do this whole mission and then they all have to leave before you can talk to anybody.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll go
I'm
ahead
looking.
and I'm still a little
Bitch, I'm already
perturbed
on
they
there.
took my stuff. So I'm gonna kind of stare him down pretty hard, but then I'm gonna move into the elevator.
Cool. So Ray goes off and you just see her get into the pod. You have to like stick your feet into these little hooks on the ground because as it brings you from this elevator into like the main core shaft that connects them all, you do lose your gravity, right? Because the gravity is
Whoa.
made by the rotation of these rings. So as you enter the elevator and it takes off, you do get like weightless. And then it takes turns and brings you into another ring. And it's really fast. Like you have no orientation. And you might never have done this before if you've never lifted the fourth ring. But once you do, you end up in a little glass room where you see tons of guards all around you. And one by one, you each get into this elevator and taken to this room. And who thinks like their character would have gone to the terminal ring, the kind of touristy spot before? Is there any reasons any of you guys would have?
I for
sneak
sure
around a
would
lot.
have.
So
Yeah, I'm assuming Aslan would. I for sure would have because I would have been transporting in and out as a smuggler.
Yeah, smuggler
I would
stuff,
be,
right?
Yeah, I would be transporting content. So
Yeah. What do you think, Patrick? Would Sleazel
Only
have
if
done
there's some
entertainment stuff?
he's
only if
busking.
there's some busking opportunities. Like that would be it. But otherwise, those ain't my people.
Sure. So maybe the two of you, as you guys all one by one get out of the elevator and all kind of pack into this little maybe 5 foot square room, the two who had been on the terminal ring, which I believe is 7, maybe 6, I have to look it up. You guys know instantly that you're not on the right ring. And what you guys see, the hammers were all these dwarven soldier guards that wore these big bulky armor. What you see in this room, and actually I can change the map. Let me figure out where.
I'm not liking this.
Okay, so you guys enter in this left side here. And if you guys want to put your markers, you don't have to. I just made this so it would help me as I'm explaining this to you. So you guys enter that little room, and actually I put... sorry, one sec. Okay. So what you see in there are 5 guards in the main room. On those like horizontal lines that kind of turn into 3 rooms, there are 3 prisoners in each, and their wrists are bound and connected to the floor. And what you see right outside of your door is 1 guard. And all the 4 guards, they don't wear white like the hammers do, but their armor is fairly bulky. But it's like this dark, stealthy, kind of matte black. And they look as intimidating, if not more than the hammers. And one thing that you guys realize instantly is the hammers like kind of moved with a weight, right? It was like real heavy footsteps. Though these guys are almost as the armor's almost as thick, they move like effortlessly, as stealthily as any rogue, right? They're just gliding around just easy as can be. And the 1 guard swipes the door to the glass room and ushers you guys out across the hall into that next door. And in here is way more regal than any room you guys have seen. Everything is clean white, right? Pristine. There's not a trace of dirt anywhere or grease anywhere. And as you go in this room, there is a carpet that cuts all the way across. And you can see there are, I believe it's 9 doors total in this room, but he's ignoring all of them and bringing you straight across to that 1 door at the end. And what you see on the doors, on the kind of top and bottom of this hallway, there's numbers, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he swipes his ID to this door, and this door stands out completely from the rest of this sterile white room. This door is actually the first piece of wood you guys have seen on this spaceship. Um, Actually, you guys have probably never seen wood ever in the stations. And it's this nice, like warm red wood, maybe cherry, right? And he opens it up and he starts ushering you guys into that room as well. But he doesn't follow you, and he closes the door behind.
So we're
And what you see in this room are a big metal semi ring with these glass rooms above. And in each glass room, there's a figure adorned with like the fanciest white robe that has a collar that kind of reaches up behind their head. And they're all wearing helmets. But what you instantly can tell is like these helmets have no visor. It's almost just like a metal capsule over their head. And each of them are holding onto these brass railings that kind of perimeter their own individual glass room.
Oh boy.
So as you guys enter, you look straight up and you can see space. And what you might be able to feel physically, and maybe what you can tell looking through this glass ceiling, is that your ring is moving much faster. And you could probably assume, just because you guys are space station people, that this ring is much smaller, so it has to spin much faster to keep that fake gravity happening.
Which also means we're like high up on their ranking, right? Because they get smaller.
I think that's a fair assumption.
I want to.
Well, besides that in the wood.
So these people are looking down at us. I see them in these cases, and they're looking down at us
So
right now.
they are much higher than you, but they don't look like they're looking at you at all.
But they are.
Ella and
they
I are hanging
people.
back.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to walk in confidently in the center of the room, and I want to throw up my arms and go, "Are you not entertained?" Referencing some
sorry.
old movie that I saw.
Yeah. And
And the two of us are standing back here shaking our fucking heads like usual.
and you hear voices, and they're being mic'd into the room. And because of these helmets, you can't tell who's talking. Maybe like with really good perception, you could tell who's talking by like simple body movements, but for the most part, they're all standing still. And you hear over the speaker, you have not been presented for us to judge, but to speak of what you've seen."
Oh, okay.
And could I ask who I have the pleasure of talking with?
Yeah. Yeah. And he goes, oh, sorry. We are the judges. You're in the bay of the law.
Oh.
Okay, and am I in trouble?
And they go, "No, again, you're not here for judgment. You're simply here to tell us what you've seen."
I thought you were playing along with that joke I was doing, so that was slightly confusing. I think you probably get that. Okay, wait, I don't understand. What do you want to know? You're talking about with the hammer guy?
Yeah.
What I saw, I had a voice changer, and he took it. I was just going to show it to him, and he took it from me, and he put it in his bag.
Yeah. And a different voice kind of ignores that completely, right? Like, it's like utter ridiculousness. And he goes, "The hammers have been working without our permission. Tell us what they've had you do."
I think you should take this one.
All right, so then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to fly up so that I'm eye level with them.
Yeah.
And as I do, I start to tell them what we were commissioned to do and were told to do, and then just walk them through the escapades that ensued. And then I reiterate. And then when we were showing him all the stuff that we came out with, he took our voice box.
It's called a tonal shifter.
Our tonal shifter.
Yeah. So as you fly up, they don't see you fly up, right? There's no change at all. And how much detail do you think Eris would have gone into with what you saw?
Yeah.
I would have gone into just enough detail that it's not going to get us in trouble, but enough that could garner some trust with them.
Sure. So let me just like list a few things.
I'm not
right?
gonna.
Nice
okay,
work
I'll
around
tell you what
there.
I'm not. I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna tell them. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell them about the people that we killed at the beginning,
Perfect.
and I'm not going to tell them about my arm situation. And all I will do is tell them that we did encounter a large creature at the end that we had to kill to survive, which is where our voice box came from, the tonal shifter that again that guy stole from us, and we'd love it to be replaced.
We earned fair and square.
I think that's perfect. So as you describe like all the little bits, they start prodding about the screen with the faces that changed. They're like, what was that?
And then I would say, have you seen The Dark Knight Rises? and then
Yeah, one goes, yes, of course, yes.
Okay, of course you have. And then have you also seen the quintessential film The Matrix?
Only the first one.
Okay, well that's fine. That's plenty. That's plenty because what happens is it was a large screen, essentially where the Joker takes over with all the faces and his face shows up, and then it pixelated down, cascading much like the Matrix. That's what we know. And behind it was this.
Well, we also saw that mural that had like the universe and all like the.
I wasn't.
Faces scratched in.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what we saw in reference to that, and then when that thing kind of dissolved away, that's when we saw the Spider-Man. Have you seen the Spider-Man?
yeah, but that doesn't line up with anything else you've explained so far. That sounds totally different.
The entire episode is DMCA'd immediately.
So yeah, as you're explaining all of this, they're like, we need a second, and all of their glass kind of fogs over, and the room goes silent. And as you guys have time to like look around, you realize that the two people who are standing on the floor, what you're really standing on is like a giant airlock.
I am flying.
Right.
Yeah, you are.
I said the two
That's
people who
right.
are standing are like on a giant airlock. And after minutes of time passes by, the fogged glass comes back down, and one of the judges is missing.
I would like to start jumping up and down on the airlock.
Yeah. Again, the one, like, you start hearing people like murmuring a little bit, right? And it's just barely making it over the speakers in the room. Confused of like how you could have gone through all of this and survived and act like this. But he goes on with it, and they're like, you guys were comfortable taking a job for our hammers. Would you be comfortable taking a job for us?
Where's Mick Jagger?
It took you this long to remember.
What would that job?
He's back with us, okay? Standing in the corner.
What would that job entail?
Yeah, and he's like, we want you to continue on with the hammers as you had planned, but we need you to relay information back to us.
So we're playing a double agent.
Secret agent.
Yeah.
Wait. Quick question. Will
How much
I
are you
get
paying?
to meet Moradin the dwarf who sells hammers?
I'm sure on their ship they have a hammersmith.
But is it Moradin? I heard he's the best.
No. And he goes, one of the male voices goes like, do you know who Moradin is?
He sells hammers.
Yeah, and he goes, no, fool. Moradin's the god of the dwarves.
Okay. Does he also make? I don't need to know his whole backstory. I'm just trying to find out where he's selling hammers at.
Yeah. And he interrupts you and he goes, a god was born when Torah was abandoned, and their following has grown beyond any of our expectations. We thought removing the gods from our station would help with the magic issues and the dangers they impose, but something much greater has grown in the darkness. As a god's following grows, so does their power. And we believe this god is pursuing ultimate power through complete submission. And from the sounds of what you saw, also through complete manipulation.
This is Morden.
No, Morden's the dwarves god. This is someone completely new.
And we don't know who this
Oh,
is.
no.
Do we know his name? Or her name?
We've
Do we
only-
know their name?
Yeah, and he goes, that's correct. Like, this god has no gender. It has no formal identity. We've heard rumors of names, but most of his servants are calling him the god of 1,000 faces.
That was creepy.
The many-faced god.
Aslan's gonna step out. Not both of us, just me. Oh my gosh. Whatever. I'm stepping out, even though it's not letting me move it. And
Is there-
asking,
I would
what is
like-
the hammer's
Oh, sorry.
place in this, and do they know where we are now? Like, I don't want us getting killed because they know we're double agents here.
Yeah, and one of the voices kind of rings out and is like, we need to be clear. The hammers are not working with us. Like, there will be some danger that comes with this, but we believe the hammers are trying to take care of this god by themselves, and it's not going to work.
Wait, I'm confused. Let's hold on one second.
I fly down, pick him up by his coat, and pull him up so that he's face to face with them.
Okay. You're telling me anybody can just take someone else's tonal shifter and it's okay? Okay, that's not the thing. You're telling me that anyone can just take someone's tonal shifter and it's okay? The guy the cop that gave us these badges, and I'm gonna hold up my parchment badge.
Yeah.
Is he a hammer?
Yeah.
Is he good or bad?
The hammers and the gang of Morden are lawful and obedient. I don't think this is not a good or bad situation. They're doing what they think is best, but their pride is enforcing them to do it alone, and that's not going to work in this situation.
So you're more concerned for them. They're not in
Absolutely.
trouble. You're concerned. Okay.
At this point, we are concerned for all of humanity.
I was going to ask, does your concern come more in the way of their Icarus is going to cause us all to lose?
Yes. And what you see around you is this like hologram that kind of lowers. And what you see in this hologram are tons of different symbols of like all of the known gods of this universe.
Known gods or gnome gods?
Known. There are
Could
known
be either.
gods though.
That was a real question, by the way.
Yeah. Don't worry. You see a ooh, I can't remember the name. What's that like woven horn that has all the food in it?
Cornucopia?
Yes.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. You see a symbol with a cornucopia on it, and any gnome would know that's like the gnomish god Yolanda's symbol, right? And all of these gods, like
Wanda.
Wait,
for most
did
of you
say
guys, you would
gnome?
not. This time I did.
I gotta go forward. We gotta. Okay, all right.
So here-
Pronouncing that
Enunciation.
silent G for us. Thanks.
Yeah, the gnomes.
Gnome. We're going to get past that though. So you see all these symbols, and for most of you guys, you don't recognize any of these symbols, but the judges explain to you like these are all the known gods, and then all of a sudden like they start dimming, and as this new god, this new deity starts taking followers from them, their powers decrease, and this new god's power is increasing. Because a god's power comes directly from the followers, there's only a certain amount of power to be divvied amongst all of them. And because this new one is taking so much of the power, we're worried. And like you can see Moradin, and Moradin's like one of the fainter symbols,
Okay.
right? And they're like, there's no way they're going to be able to do it individually.
So he may only be able to make a hammer at this point. Like, is what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit.
All right.
So
so can I-
basically, we just went from like petty thievery to saving the universe.
Yeah.
And they're like,
We
don't know how
definitely
it happened
amped it up
either.
a little bit. Did you find out about our escapades from the hammers? How did you know that this happened?
yeah, no, we have our own guards. And anyone like you said you had been to the terminal, which is on the 6th ring. On the terminal, they have their own guards called the Covenant, and the Covenant are broken up into 2 different types of guards. And if I can find it, the one of them is kind of like they're on the ground police, but they have a second class of guards that like lurk in shadows and on top of buildings and just watch everything. And there's rumors that the Covenant also break through all the other rings and kind of watch everything.
So how did we get to you if we were in custody with the Hammers who were transporting us?
And they're like simple. We saw Oak Belly engage the elevator, and we just rerouted it.
Okay, so you have
Oh.
access. You have access to override all that stuff. Okay.
So he doesn't know where we are right now?
No.
I'm gonna fly back down. I'm gonna fly back down with my boy and say, can we just have a moment to discuss this?
I feel like at that moment, Elle would pipe up and want to know what we're getting out of this. It seems like something.
Well, I'm not even sure we know what's being asked of us. So what I want to make clear, what are we being asked to do?
I drop him off on the floor.
What are you giving us? Do I get gear? Do I get a ship? Are you equipping us to do this in any way? And yeah, what do we get if we're successful beyond apparently not a hammer or a tonal shifter? All that's happened to us is people have taken stuff from us. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
If I keep helping you, I'm not gonna have a place to live.
we haven't even been paid for the last job we did yet.
Yeah. So they're like, yes, we understand. Like this is influx for everybody. First off, we want to put the impression on you like this is very serious, right? Like someone needs to take care of this. We have other groups trying, but you guys are in a particular spot where you can help infiltrate the Hammers and just keep an eye on their actions so that we can start linking all the information we have going on.
Okay.
So second, you're still getting your payment from the Hammers. Our intention is that you just continue on with them, and they'll give you all the things that they asked, as well as opportunities to work on that ship with them. And that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that you just continue working with them, and then periodically let us know like your findings, what their actions are, and if they're going to try to do something intense. Because if they're going to they're going to need help.
How do we contact you?
And like we'll give you a phone number. We might even give you a secret phone, like a secret device to call us.
Yeah. Give us that.
All right. So
Okay.
before I agree to anything, I asked my party.
Yeah, we'd powwow at this point.
I just tell them, hey, give us a moment, please, to discuss all this. And so I would usher us over here into the doorway, kind of into
Sure.
that little foyer area.
Yeah.
I get the impression that they need us, based on what he just said about us being in a unique position. I think that gives us some buying power and some leverage. I think we can maybe finagle a couple of extra things out of this. But I also get the feeling that beyond that, if what they say is true, it benefits us to see this thing through. We are on the front line of that, and we get to decide our own fate, as opposed to if this thing is really going on and this is really a threat, like they're saying, if we don't do anything, we're just sitting and waiting to see what happens. And I would rather get to have a say in my own fate.
I need to share something personal. I don't have any gigs lined up right now. So I might as well go do this.
A single tear rolls down his cheek, and I wipe it with my bionic arm.
Gashing my cheek open.
Half his face gone. Yeah, I have answers. I need to find out, and this is leading me right to the source. So I'm in.
And it does kind of say for you, Aslan, that you have been trying to be so quiet and secretive. We are with like the top tier people on the ship here. This could garner you favor with them to potentially give you passage regardless of whether you get found out or not. Like this, you could potentially get you could negotiate what's the word I'm looking for? like diplomatic immunity, essentially. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
for
think
me,
it would
that's
benefit us.
pretty huge.
What do you think, Elle?
Oh, that's interesting. Good point you bring up.
Thanks.
And she fully agrees with me and will in perpetuity. Okay, so I'm gonna say, okay, if we're in, I'm gonna go back and I will address them for us.
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys are doing great. Keep it up.
So I'm gonna
Go team, go.
fly back into the center, up there and kind of pivot my way around, kind of slowly hovering around, looking at all of them, and tell them we will help you in this venture, but there may come a time where we need various resources and elements that we hope you remember our willingness to sacrifice the what we're doing and our safety and our livelihoods to help and hope to cash in on that later. We just want to be really upfront with you.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, and one of the voices is like that's completely understandable. You have all of Thurgil Morin's power behind you. And anyone who's like just taking an interest in the station would know that's like the head captain of the entire Lathander's ring.
DM, does this mean like we get away with doing magic and not get fucking arrested?
I mean, you could ask that if you want. I
don't want to be like thrown into jail if I bring up that question.
That's a you'll have to take the risk, right? Like if you want to
Right.
ask that.
So I wouldn't just know that by them saying that.
No.
We do by hearing his name though, and hearing that we would have the full support of him. That would at least let us know that we are. That could be a get out of jail free card for us.
I think I like your PBA card.
I think it's more of a forgiveness than permission situation, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I wouldn't ask. I would just later on say we're working with so and so if it comes up. So, okay,
Cool.
That's good to know. And we're in. What do you need us to do?
Yeah, and they're like, for now, just go. Act like this never happened. You're going to have to come up with an explanation. I'm sure he's going to ask where you are. But get on that ship. You're going to have to kind of infuse yourself into their culture and try to take on the work as they give it to you. There's going to be a human there. Not having my normal setup is like really throwing me off here. Sorry, one sec. Boop, boop, boop.
Hey, you might get your hammer out of this then. If we're blending in.
They let you know that there's a human already on board there that they've been in discussions with called Marlon Rando. One of our submitted names.
Interesting.
And when you get there, to look for them because they'll already have fit in. They might be able to help you get to speed.
So that's like our in basically throughout this whole thing. Okay.
Before we leave, I will ask. Before we head out, I would ask that you would transfer some credits into our name or onto my data pad so that we would have some additional funds to help equip us.
Yeah, and they're like, we will definitely do that. Obviously, we can't do anything extraordinary because it would stand out, but we will try to give you some just to help you along. And potentially, we can give you some over time, like monthly deposits to help you.
Absolutely.
Instead of that, could we get a tonal shifter?
Absolutely. No credits. We'll give you that total shifter.
Thoughts?
No.
Smacks him with the bionic arm and he goes flying.
Yeah. And he's like, one of them is like, time is passing. We will need to finish this.
All right.
And transfer that money and we'll get on our way.
Yeah. And they're like, speak to the guard who was going to help you get back out.
Okay.
So as you guys, as they say that, the door, that wooden door, opens up again with the guards standing outside, and in one hand is the same kind of ID device as you guys have, but he hands it to you, and you look at it, and there's no ID on it, right? It's like a weird hacked, phone device, and on it there's already 1,000 credits, and the number for the judges.
Oh, and he hands that to me, or is it one for each of us, or one?
I think
it's just one, and he just
give
has
it to
his hand
Eris.
out.
I already grabbed it.
Yeah.
I already
Yeah.
grabbed it.
We've already went over this is his job.
Yeah,
Cool.
and the guard's like, all right, follow me. And you guys go through, past the passengers, and one by one, he leads you back onto the elevator.
As we're walking, I just want to form a quick plot with them and just be like, with the chaos going on, let's just say we were rerouted to the wrong floor, had to talk our way back in and get back.
Can we just say I had to go to the bathroom? Is that possible?
I think we a combination of the two. We got
Sure.
dropped off on the wrong floor, and when we got there were bathrooms, and upon seeing the bathroom, you realized, oh, I have to go.
Oh, wait. Maybe we can start there. Yeah, okay. I was going to say maybe someone else got on the elevator, then we got off with them, and then, but then we were on the wrong floor, and then we had to, get back.
The most, the easiest lies are the
simple?
simplest.
Yeah, simple.
Okay.
When you go on and on and on, they tend to not believe you.
The power went out, and the elevator just stopped, and then I shit my pants. And then we made
Then we
it.
had to go. Then we had to go buy more pants that look identical to the ones that I was just wearing.
We had to swing by his place first and pick up a change of clothing.
Yeah, I'm going to let y'all do the talking is what I've decided.
Yeah, I do the talking and I say what I just said.
Okay.
We're not there yet. We're planning it, but go for it once we're there. All right.
1 second. I'm just gonna grab an image for you guys while you're saying all that, and I'm gonna drop it into Figma. So you guys
Which
make
means
your-
you'd go first. Sorry. We'll have you go first so you can pop out and tell them that while the rest of us are pinging in behind you.
Who's going first?
Eris, so that
That's not-
the explanation can happen while the rest of us are going, and we keep Sleazel as far away from that situation as possible to not ruin said cover.
You guys good with that? It'd be Eris, Sleazel, Aslan.
It'd probably be us two and we'll have Sleazel go last.
Yes, Sleazel is fine with that.
Okay. Either way, so the map I've just dropped into Figma without the grid. This is the sixth ring, the terminal. You guys all exit the elevator at D, that middle spot there. And that middle strip is all grass and trees. This is like the only bit of nature any of you have ever seen. So you who have been on this ring have seen it before. So there's a greenway that kind of cuts all the way through the middle, all around the terminal. Right outside of the elevator where it says C, there is a giant golden statue of Lathander. Lathander being an ancient god, and Lathander's hand is reaching out and pointing to the stars. And as you look up, first off, the ceiling is much taller than on the fourth ring. I think we said the fourth ring was about 30 feet. This is double that. This is 60 feet. And where the ceiling was a cold metal on the fourth ring, this one's made of glass. So as it spins, you can see the burning planet of Toril, and then reverse the blackness of space. And as it spins, you can realize this spin is much closer to the fourth ring, right? This is a very large ring. But you can still see, as you look down at the curvature as it goes up and around. And as you guys get out, Oakbelly isn't there at all.
I look around. Is there anyone around right now, or is it just empty?
Oh, there's tons of people. And that's actually a very important question. So fourth ring, we describe those people that they were very the same, right? Kind of muted clothes, darker lower end. This up here is like complete opposite. There's people of all incomes, all species, all walking around. Many entering the elevator, going up and down, but people just shopping, eating at restaurants, with families, people who are just here on vacation.
All right, I'm gonna do a quick cursory search for Bootlegger. Is that his name?
Oakbelly.
Oakbelly. And I'm gonna fly up by essentially next to this statue of Lathander. Is he what is the position he's in? Is he kind of pointing off to the distance? Like what is he?
He's pointing up to the stars in the
I land
ceiling.
on his finger, and perch myself on his finger to get a look around to see if I can find Oakbelly.
Sure. And as you land, you get just a couple seconds to scour the area until one of the Covenant soldiers that looks identical to the ones that were on the last ring you were on, kind of come up there with a rifle, like, get off the statue.
And I say, okay. And then
You did not see any hammers as you were up there, though.
okay, then I come back
So-
down. And he's not. I don't see him, guys. I don't.
Can't you just call him? Don't we have his number?
Do we have Oakbelly's number?
You do.
I mean, we talked to him in the basement.
I'll call him.
today.
Yeah, and as he calls you, caller ID lets him know exactly who you are. And as he picks up, he's just like, "Where are you guys? I came out of the elevator. You weren't even there."
We are here too. We're looking for you.
Yeah, he's like, "I waited. I looked around. I spun around and kept looking. You guys weren't anywhere to be found. I just went to the hangar."
So did I. So did we. And I even got to a point where I had to fly up, and I sat on the Lathander statue, and I got in trouble.
He's like, "Oh, you must have got yelled at for that one."
I did. So that's when I decided to call you when I didn't see you. So just tell us how to get to where you are.
Yeah, and he sends you kind of like a direction link that brings you to the main hangar where all the ships come in and out.
Okay.
And he's like, "We're in hangar 5. Like,
Okay, well, then
it'll
we'll
be
see
easy
you
to
soon.
find."
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Boop.
I
So is
love
there
how there
anything-
was no explanation. That was just like, dude, we were fucking here the whole time. Where were you?
Listen,
Like
I'm
we
kind of
popped
a
out
pro
the
at
other side
this.
of the door.
I'm kind of a pro at this.
I love it.
That's how you always get out of this, right? You just throw
Yeah.
blame the other way, and then it's just like, fine, fine, fine.
And I just usher us on to the point at hand. Yeah.
Cool.
Love
Is
it.
there anything you guys want to do on this ring before leaving? I guess
Yeah,
there's anything
as
you
we're
want to do
walking,
on
I'm
the
gonna
station.
start looking for
fucking
buckets
food.
to pick.
Pockets
Oh.
to pick. Cool. First off, why don't you give me just a raw D20 roll?
Let me do this as well. I would like to serve as a distraction when he starts picking, and my
Cool.
guitar is great for that. So as soon as he knows his mark, I would like to start playing some light guitar. I want to come across as a busker, try to make some music, grab some attention.
Absolutely.
12.
All right. So perfect. Now give me your stealth or your was it? I don't have my sheets in front of me. What's the hand one? Stealth hand or whatever.
Sleight of hand.
That's the one. So give me
the
that, and then
self-hander?
Patrick, give him
We
a
are
D20.
professionals.
Give him a D20 help roll, which will just act as advantage for him.
I'm going to tell you that with my sleight of hand, I just got a 23.
Yeah, you did.
With my performance, I got an 8.
That checks out on both sides.
It's been a stressful day.
I would say though, like a really bad performance could be as helpful in this situation as a really good one.
That is true.
So
That's what I always like to say. Listen, you never remember the good solos, but you always remember the worst solo.
So Patrick, I'm sorry, Patrick.
Ben.
Andrew, you walk up to someone's purse and you stick your hand in, and you easily, as you guys are just walking, pulled out. And what you get is like a really nice leftover box of just like the fanciest food you've probably seen in a really long time.
The fanciest perfume?
Food, like it's a box of leftovers.
Man, why do people do that?
And I'm gonna tap his shoulder and like motion him to give it to me because I'm hungry.
Yeah, and I
So
do
I'll take
because I
it.
don't give a shit about this.
So I'll take it and start eating it. And I want to do like a look around to see if anybody's following us because we haven't really done a check-in of like, are we being followed? What's going
Nope.
on with all these people?
Nothing that you see as normal.
Cool.
And you like maybe you're a little self-conscious because of how you look compared to other people, but you quickly realize like the fourth ring people are up here too.
Yeah.
Like you're okay. You're not standing out like a sore thumb at all. You definitely don't look as fancy as like the people Andrew stole from, or any like that. But you can tell like
Okay.
you shouldn't feel bad about what's going on here.
Okay,
Oh, then I'll just keep eating my snack.
we're going to 5, which is east, right?
It's 5 is just the hangar. The hangars are on the outside everywhere. So if you cut like you guys are near C, if you just cut down this main road and you get to like this building out on the very top, that brings you to the hangars. And what you do when you get to the hangar bay, it's really just an elevator that sort of brings you down, just kind of like where you guys did on the fourth ring, right? It brings you to like a level right below where you guys were. And here it's much more industrial. And you can see like forklifts moving equipment. You can see some families on small trolleys like making their way to an elevator, but there's giant bay doors that kind of line these walls with big numbers on them, and it would be very easy to find the 5th bay door.
Okay, which one? Which direction? Can you ping where the 5th one is? I want to know if I have enough time to pickpocket one more person before we get there, like on our trek.
We could definitely say you do. The hangars would be below this, so it wouldn't be marked on the map.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna try to pickpocket one more person on the way.
Okay, so raw d20 first. That's your luck of just how lucky did you get finding somebody.
That's an 11.
Okay, so a little worse than last time.
I got a natural 20.
So they don't see you at all. But this time you go into someone's pocket and you pull out just like a nice gold stopwatch.
Much better.
This one I keep.
Yeah.
I throw it in my pocket and then I come back down.
Cool. So you guys are down now towards the hangars. Is there any last things you want to do before entering hangar 5?
No, I'm very keen to meet up with Oakbelly because I want to get to the next place we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So as you guys get to 5, there's a big giant bay door, but there's smaller doors next to it. So you go through one of those smaller doors because they're just freely open. And what you see in front of you is a giant kind of force field along the wall, but you can see from here directly out into space. And in front of you is a giant, almost brick-looking ship. It's got a slight slant in the front, but the rest of it is very brutalist and simple. There's not even wings, but there's little cut-ins on the side walls that create little ledges. And the back of it opens up into a giant kind of flap-down door. And you can see Oakbelly there, as well as a bunch of other hammers and people that look like they were just kind of joined in those raids, right? You're not just the only people that they found.
I like to puff my chest up as I'm working close to them, because I just feel like we are very important. Me specifically.
Yeah. And as you guys walk up, Oakbelly, where he might have sounded frustrated or in a hurry earlier, he's much more jovial now. He's still holding his side because he got so damaged up in his raid. But he's like, let's go. We're getting off this ring. And like when he says that, like other hammers are cheering, right? They are stoked to get off the station.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go, and we're getting tonal shifters.
Yeah. And as you say that, like one guy really far off, just like, yeah.
I go up to him kind of quietly, but not too quietly. I'm not trying to be super stealthy about it, but I just pop up and say, you did mention that we that you would take care of health stems for us because we're all out of health stems, and I was pretty badly damaged during that last.
Yeah, and he like claps your shoulders with his big hands, right? And it's a little jolting. He's like, "Oh, we'll take care of you." And as you guys get onto the ship, there are rows of beds, but they're more like pods. And what he explains to you is that this is a long journey to their flagship, and that there'll be like months. So you just kind of go into your cryo sleep. Through that, you'll be healed up completely.
Oh, cool.
Wow. Okay.
So you can see as people are kind of getting in, and there's one hammer. We had talked about them that they're not super like aggressive, but more like the healer type. And they're kind of going through and just making sure that all the cryopods are set. And just one by one, they fog over and kind of start charging, right? And you can just see people like getting in and going into cryo sleep.
Ooh.
And Oakbelly's just like, grab a pod, and you see as he like lifts himself into one and like lays down as the person kind of just like turns it on. He goes to sleep.
And then, do we
would head over and what were you gonna say?
I mean, do we get this? This is like a situation where everyone will ultimately be in a pod. Like the ship is just on an automatic course.
There will probably be a few who monitor things to make sure everything's good, but the vast majority are going into cryo sleep.
For right now, I'm just going to hang back watching the majority of everybody else getting in.
So I was going to say that we would usher into an area, and basically I would bounce the situation and not let anyone in our pod so that we got a cluster. I would not want us separated. So
you're looking for like 3 cryo sleep beds together.
4. I'm taking L with
4.
us.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
4.
So I would basically like body check people and make sure they're like fuck off and get us in a little area where there's 4 in a row.
let's have a quick conversation. I'm wondering if one of us doesn't want to go to sleep. I'm wondering if one of us wants to stay up, because once we go to sleep, if we all go to sleep, we've lost complete agency of our characters.
Yeah.
And it might be an opportunity for us to learn more about what's going on, who's influencing this. I mean, we might have a lot of free time.
I think it's Elle. Elle would 100% do it. She like he doesn't sleep, and
So do you think we should all take cryopods and leave Elle?
I'm technically talking to Elle right now, so I could ask.
Is like outside game? Are you talking with Tracy right now?
Yeah, we're literally talking
Yeah,
right now. That's why I
ask her.
keep looking down.
Because that would be a good thing. And
Hey,
that's
Trace.
without outside of the game. Outside of
So
the
we're
game,
having a meta moment.
it could be a possible
and,
thing where you and
have
her
to go on
could
a
chat
cryo
at some
thing.
point between our now and the next thing where
Yeah,
she
send
could
like a
find out.
paragraph.
Yeah.
And just resolve what happens. But I don't think all. And here's the thing: if everybody else wants to go, I will stay out. But realistically, I think one of us should take the opportunity to not. And the fact that I think that it seems like it's not fully remote control and that some people might stay out to monitor lets me know that there are resources to keep people alive during this time. So it's not going to be like not a rival. Oh, I think it was a rival situation where you're just, because you woke up, now you're just going to die,
Right.
I still think it's cute. I think this would totally happen, and she's really sad that she's missing this. So I just sent her like a little audio on Insta, and asked her if she wants to guard the space.
So for now, we'll assume that she's waiting. She's staying
Yeah,
out.
that makes
while we
sense.
move on. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could always do some like pullback if we have to, right? But so as you guys are kind of just waiting and watching, you do see like people are effortless, like they don't mind, right? This is an expected thing. Even the non-dwarves are fine with it. And eventually one of the hammers will come over to you and guys like, you guys ready? Like, we're going to take off soon.
Yeah. And I could see just being like back against them reading a book, like I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's do it.
Cool. So as you guys do, you get into your pods and the glass kind of closes on top of you, and there's like a frosted yellow effect that goes over, and you slowly just fall asleep.
I did. I urinated into my tube.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of urinating and defecating over months, right?
Okay.
Space is gross. So yeah, what feels just like moments to you was really 3 or 4 months. And as you get closer and closer to the ship without your knowledge, your glass kind of unfrosts over, and you slowly wake up. All of you probably feel really groggy, right? It's not like you just snap out of it. And there is time, like this is a planned thing. But as you kind of lean up, you can look down the aisle and see a lot of people like getting up, some maybe even vomiting, right? Just because their body couldn't handle this giant kind of fluctuation. Let me find my next note.
What look do I see on Elle's face?
Elle looks fine. Elle looks not only fine, but like as good as ever, right? Like she's rested. She doesn't look tired. There's no idea, like she wasn't hungry, right? They fed her. There's no way she would be able to stay secret on there the whole time. But people, like, it wasn't like they were offended by the fact that she wouldn't go into the cryo sleep, right? There's a good chance that she's just scared of it, kind of. So maybe she played it off that she was scared, but she'll be fine.
I think that fits. I mean, we'll see what Tracy says, but so far I think that makes so much sense for that character. And Sleaza may be the one that throws up, but Eris and I have been on ships before, so I'm pretty sure we're good. What just happened?
Well, we just talked about how my arm may or may not have continued to function whilst I was.
Yeah, well.
Do I wake up with a large smile on my face?
Saw that coming from a mile away.
Yeah. So you guys start waking up. Things get fine, and they start like telling people like, "Hey, we're about to board."
We've been on this ship for months now.
Yeah.
We're boarding another ship?
Oh, yes. You guys were on a small ship. So Lathander's ring can't take giant ships, right? So most people take kind of like a rowboat to get to the station from their main craft, right? But you guys were actually going to what is called the Iron Fort, and that's Morden's main flagship.
Okay.
And that travels all over the system.
Can I ask
So-
a question? I'll need a history check for this.
Sure.
Maybe, I don't know, but I'm curious what the relationship is with the steel skins in the Iron Fort. Are there still skins here? It sounds like a steel area.
The
but-
Rumpelstiltskins.
Sure, give me a history roll.
Nat 20.
Yeah, so you would know that the chances of you running into a steel skin here are way less than even the fourth ring. But the steel skin and Morden are friendly.
Okay.
They both really appreciate craft and making things and mining. So their interests overlap a lot, but no one would permanently live here like they live on the fourth ring.
And did we, when we boarded this ship, did we know we were going to the Iron Fort?
I think people I kept telling you the flagship, there's a very good chance that the name would have come out. Yeah.
In any case, I want to excitedly let my party know that I'm friends with these people. Like, my people and these people, we're very close. I'm going to do well here.
Okay.
That's good.
I mean, it's right. That's
Yeah,
positive for
that's-
all of us.
that's
I
great.
think y'all
Yeah.
need to, like, this
Yeah.
is good.
No, it's a good thought. I when I was like writing all this, I didn't even think I was like, oh yeah, like the gnomes and dwarves, especially in the crafting god realm, are like 100% like fine with each other.
Then I
Um,
would look at you and say, I'm gonna need you to lead us well.
I've never noticed how green your eyes are.
Yeah.
So as you guys start waking up, you can feel your ship rumble, and as it starts kind of rumbling, you can hear like sounds like whirling outside. But eventually, all of that ceases, and that big door that you guys entered closes down, and what you see in front of you is this magnificent hall of ships with giant metal pillar structures holding it all together, where the fourth ring and the terminal sixth ring, and especially the seventh ring, the Bay of Law, they covered up all of those supports. That you can tell that on the Iron Fort, all those supports are left visible. Like they're extremely proud of their engineering and their building. Even on some of these giant metal pillars, there are faces and runes engraved down. And outside of each ship, there are a handful of dwarves in very nice clothes, plain clothes, but like they're not armored. It's very like cloth and robes and dresses, and they're there to like usher you guys off, like you're being welcomed. And as they do that, they start separating you guys into smaller groups and kind of bring you through this giant hall into small doors, and you're like entering into the Iron Fort. As you do that, can you guys all give me a perception roll?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
As soon as I find this.
I got a 13 or a baker's dozen.
8.
10.
Cool. So
Shit.
Ray, you all realize like walking feels different here. I would compare it to like getting your ocean legs, or what they call that.
Sea
legs.
Sea legs.
There you go.
Close.
Man, I am
So
not doing that.
close.
Uh,
A little further.
so you guys, and the reason is that the gravity here is made artificially, right? There's no spinning involved, so it feels completely different. Who had the 13?
Me.
Cool. What you also pick up on are slight voices entering your head, right? And maybe it's not audibly, but there's things that like almost echoes that you're hearing.
Can I tell what they're saying?
No, it's like so super faint.
How now that I'm in this place, would I be comfortable showing off my steel-skin allegiance?
Sure.
I want to go ahead and I'm going to take the pack of cigarettes out of my sleeve, and then I'm going to roll it up further because I want to leave it rolled up so you can see my steel-skin tattoo that's been on my arm the whole time, on my upper arm.
Yeah.
Can I?
All
can
right.
Can I make out what? Can I make out what language the voices seem like they're saying?
Ooh,
Those
Give
were
me
clove cigarettes, by the way. But go ahead.
Give me an insight check, I think.
Are we noticing him wigging out at all?
I
While
haven't
this
wigged
is
out
happening?
yet. I'm about to wig
Okay.
out, so give me a second. I rolled a 2.
Two? No. I think you could tell, like, from just the feints, it's probably not common.
And it's not Aarakocra
No.
or the Auran.
Right.
Okay, so it's none of the languages
I'm
that I
up.
would inherently understand.
No.
Okay. Hey guys, do you guys hear those like echoey voices?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, okay. All right. So then I keep going.
It's kind of like your own voice, and when you're wanting to do something, like you'll hear it before you decide, like when you're deciding to do it.
Oh, like Jiminy Cricket. Well, I just so you guys know, I'm currently hearing this like echoey. It sounds like there's multiple voices, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you repeat any of what you're hearing?
Yeah.
Would I
That is
recognize
so helpful.
Possibly not because of Andrew's interpretation. But as you guys like focus, you guys both pick up on it, right? It's not only being directed to Eris. It's just in this space.
Hmm.
Do you guys understand what they're saying? Can you guys hear what they're saying?
No.
I'm trying to find my languages right now. Oh, I only have Common and Gnomish.
Oh. Celestial?
No, that'd be dope though.
Celestio.
No.
Celestio Bruno.
So I mean, and it doesn't. It's not
Love
impeding on you. If anything, it's annoying, right? It's kind of like a hiss almost. But as you guys kind of continue, it fades away, right? Like you don't focus on it, and it kind of goes away. But maybe when it starts, things are quiet, you can start picking up on them again.
Okay.
And you're being ushered, and they're like, "We've got your room all set up. In your room, you'll have all new clothing that we've sized to you. There'll be some credits in there that you could put on your identification cards, and there'll be regular meals. And we will help you out. We don't expect you guys to do anything right away. Like enjoy your time acclimating to the Iron Ford."
Wait. I'm sorry. What's your name?
I have it because I copied all the names.
Logan Thunderbrick.
I know. Bartleby Rockfinger.
Okay, Rockfinger. Are you? But out of curiosity, so I know a lot of the people here. I mean, I'm a little bit of a deal. I
Celebrity.
want to throw that out there. But I have an old buddy named Marlon Rando. Are you familiar with him?
And he's like, "I think so. I think he came to our ship just a few months back. Let's get you guys set up, and then maybe we can make him or get him to come visit you guys."
Okay, and just in like, are we in like a small encampment? Like, does this feel very? Is this an area that is separate from the city? Is this only more people like us, or what is this?
It's a good question. No, not at all. In fact, you guys see like a lot of people. There are groups of kids like reading books, like doing their schooling. You can see people working, people buying things. Like you find stores as you're walking by. They're putting you right in kind of just like the living quarters of this station or the ship.
So we're really just blending in.
Yeah, like they gave you, I wouldn't say it's not a royal welcome, right? But it's a welcome of respect. Like you're not crashing their ship. Like they are thankful you're here. And I would say the other things that are weird is where the Hammers were purely aggressive and defensive on the fourth ring. Here, it's a lot different, right? There's no reason to be defensive because everyone here is in peace. So people are extraordinarily friendly all the time.
Rockfinger.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the attire yet, but I have specific needs, as you can tell. If I need modifications, who would I speak with?
Yeah, just go to the clothing store, or I can send a seamstress over here to help you out.
Could you send a seamstress? That'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So as you guys do it, you each have your own room, but they're all next to each other. They've been blocking it, so there's 4 rooms, kind of, and they're a decent size. They're bigger than any room you could have afforded or gotten on fourth ring. And they have, all the things you need, like a proper bed, bathroom, like everything's set up. And as they said, like your closets are full of maybe 7 or 8 different outfits. There was a computer in each of your rooms that have credits on it that you guys can like transfer over. There's only 300 on there for now, but they're going to put you to work, they said. So each of you can add 300 credits to your sheets.
Would we have broken up that 1,000, by the way?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I was going
Okay,
to. I was
cool.
I was gonna wait until Tracy was back, just so that
Sure.
she knows she has it.
Cool.
Unless someone wants to remind me that she has it, but
But we should just keep track, right? Like I think we have to let Tracy know 550 so far. Right,
Yeah,
the 300 you got now.
so
the
yeah, and then you
250.
guys each get 250 from before.
Okay.
So we each,
We're all getting 550.
yes.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, everything is like to your needs, and so here's a few extra things about the Iron Fort. Like I said, it's extremely brutalist in its nature because it's a strong kind of like Mines of Moria, but in space, where some of the beams have runes carved down them, but others have like metal like reliefs welded to them, right? So there's all of these things have adornments, and you see a lot of dwarven faces on these adornments. So like old bearded dudes, women. There's crowns. Sometimes there's hammers, like reflecting what they did in their past life. But those are all over the place. What you can tell is magic isn't feared here, right? Morden and the worship is a common thing. These people would be referenced as gang members on the station, on the Lathander's ring, but here it's just how they live. So there's magic. Kids are doing magic. There's a huge responsibility to respecting their ancestors. So you see a lot of that. Like they don't just reference their current family, but they constantly reference their older family. And in all of that, everyone works towards one goal, right? No one's here on the ship not trying to like better life. So people work making things, people working in the stores and restaurants, right? Like everyone has a role and they just fulfill it as part of their duty. And they're understanding that there is no kind of like individuality in Morden. It's all one big group effort.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to clean up, and then I want to go ahead and start going out and trying to talk to locals. But I do want to take it full advantage of like shower, room, eat, all that kind of stuff before I venture out for whatever that's worth.
And as we're actually walking before we hit that point, like Aslan's definitely taking this all in, and probably for the first time in her life actually like lowering her guard, because she's hidden magic, and the fact that she's celestial her whole life, and this is like tripping her out. But there's a sense of ease that like you can just see like the shoulders drop, and like a comfortability that no one has seen in her before.
Yeah.
And like just darting around taking it all in.
I don't shower, right? I preen, right? As a Erica.
Hey man, there's a shower here if you want to try it out, like a bird bath.
Yeah, I'll do a bird bath. But I will examine the clothes. That obviously that matters to me. So before we head back out, what do I find specifically, or can I tell you what I'd like to have, and tell me if they have?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
I would
curious.
I would like for it to all be dark tones. Obviously dark grays, maybe blacks, right? And then I need a hooded cloak with quite a bit of pockets in it, as well as like pants that work well with my talons, that are cargoed in nature.
You want
Big old
cargo
side pockets.
Yeah, cargo
on
pants.
your talons?
I have pants. I wear pants.
You know what I'm saying is I'm imagining you have pockets beside your talons.
No.
Okay, so not that.
Pants that are equipped to go over my talons.
So Jenko jeans.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Pants that I can put on with my talons, knowing that I have talons. Pants that will fit, knowing that my body has talons. All right.
What I would say is, like, for all of you, if you got to your wardrobe and it wasn't what you wanted, making a request felt effortless, right? Like no one judged you. They're like, yeah, we'll just, but they didn't give it to you and leave your other stuff. there's this real responsibility of like not wasting, like these clothes can go somewhere else and help other people. So they
Great.
swapped it out.
So so in essence, then everything that I needed for my clothing, I have that, and I've traded out the clothes that they provided if there were some that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I think another thing, like maybe one of you or all of you are a little suspicious of what was happening with Oak Belly. Like, are we really going to be okay? Or like, are we really going to be taken care of? And I'd say over the first couple of weeks that you're there, you realize like everything's good. Like these people, though, things are different, and you can tell there's a zealot nature to their faith where it's like very strict and regimented, that you're safe and people are accepting of you and things are going well so far.
All right. I've got to go out and find who we're looking for. Mr.
Marlon Rando. So what I think what we should do is, it's already 7:30, so we only have an hour. So what I would like to do is, we're gonna spend we're all gonna hit level 3 now, because I believe we're also level
3.
And what level 3 does for everybody, I believe, especially everyone here, is level 3 usually unlocks your colleges or your weapon styles, or Rogue picks something, I believe. Or did you guys already pick something last week or at level 2?
I don't think so. We didn't get much for level 2 on the Rogue end.
Yeah, so I think in level 3 you'll pick like I believe Arcane Trickster is one of their like kind of subclasses. Like you pick a subclass, and Assassin is one for sure. So what this usually means in D&D is that you can't just learn these things, right? Like someone would have to teach you or help you gain that. And when they said that you could have a few weeks to acclimate, what that probably looks more like is a few months where you gain this extra ability, right? You gain your level 3 stuff. And what they're training you for is to be able to go on missions later, right? Like they don't want to just send you out as you are. They're trying to make you better so that you can start doing other things towards this new god that you guys just discovered. So with that, has anyone thought about what they want for level 3 for their characters?
I'm not
Oh,
going
you
to be
mean be prepared?
No. Yeah, and we have half an hour to just talk about this.
I'm not going to be able to level my stuff right now because my sheet, I have the base sheet, but my current sheet with all of my normal stats is on my other machine. So I'll have to wait to do it for me.
No worries. One thing you guys could probably do with your computers, if they're in front of you, is if you just like search like your class and then level 3, what it will do is you'll be able to find a few things in there that look. So like for Rogue, I know Assassin is for sure one. I believe Arcane Trickster is one, but I can't remember what book that's from. So here's a few options, right? And I want to just get everything out right here. So your 3 big options are level 3, you pick your new subclass and we start going from there. Option 2 is to subclass and put a level into another class. So if you're playing your class and you're like, I wish I could do a little bit of something else, you're in a new space that could teach you that, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you were like a rogue, but you really want to learn how to be a cleric, or you really want to add in some magic, then like you could dip another level into that. And it's called subclassing in D&D. The third thing to do, and this is totally up to everybody, if you've played now 7 sessions with your character and you're just like, I am not enjoying this character, this is a good opportunity to be like, I want to swap out to another character, because you're in a ship that has a whole bunch of other people in it, right? You could be a dwarf from here, or you could just be one of the other people that came from Ring 4. So up to you guys. I don't want to pressure you, but if you have like thoughts about like, yeah, this is kind of like, I've been playing this character now for seven sessions. These are the kind of things I'm worried about with it. These are the things that I might not be enjoying, or the things I love. Here's the kind of things I wish to do, and we can try to make that happen before we play in 2 weeks.
So I know we had this conversation before, Will, and I want to be largely flashy, explosive, and really rely on luck.
Yeah.
When I
and you
play.
want to get dangerous, a little more dangerous.
Yeah. So my question is, how can I preserve what I have now, but add an ability that if I just get an insanely good roll, I could like unleash some surprise and delight, even if that means 90% of the time I'm ineffective.
So here's if keeping Sleazel, right? So you have the two other options.
Right.
So option 1 was staying barred for you and picking a subclass. I know the other thing you talked about was just like wanting to feel like you could contribute something during combat,
Right.
which is totally fair. So they have one subclass called College of Swords, I believe. And what that does is it gives you some sword abilities. I wouldn't say it's as risky or kind of roll the dice, but it will allow you to have something to fall back on that when you're trying fun stuff, if it's not working, you can at least pull out your sword and start swiping with it. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So the second option, if you really want that swinginess, you could take a level of sorcerer, because just because you're on the station and magic is fine, you still have to live your rules by the broken weave, which means you still have to roll that die every time you try to attack. So with that magic rule, it could be good or it could be terrible, and that's how you would kind of get that swinginess.
And I'm sorry, what was that one again?
Sorcerer or any kind of magic caster, but sorcerer would be the easiest.
But obviously, magic is problematic at best.
It could be really great, and it could, in opportunities, it could be really dangerous.
Where we're at right now, it's not a problem, but we are going to be sent on missions, and there it could be. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you guys went back to the Lathander's ring, for instance, like you showing off your magic would be inappropriate. But magic is also for a gnome, right? For Aslan, it's a little harder. But for you, you could just hide your magic and no one would know, right? But what you lose is that your third level for every class is kind of like where you start getting stuff, right? Like they're level 2 to 3, usually a pretty big jump. And if you start subclassing, you're just pushing that jump off. So you'll have like a couple low level things to do, and not that big jump.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hit level 3. I don't want to lose hitting level 3.
Then don't do sorcerer, because sorcerer, you'd be level 2 in bard, 1 in sorcerer.
Yeah, I don't want to do
so
that.
let's do level 3 bard. I can't remember. I'm pulling it up right now. But I know the School of Swords used to be a like a beta trial thing, but it was fun, and I played one once, and it was cool because you're right. Like right now, you can help your party a ton, but you can't yourself do a whole terrible lot towards adding damage to the party.
Sure.
So this would help. I'm just trying to pull up right now, like what their the bard.
Yeah, I
college.
can choose College of Lore. Choice College of Lore detail at the end of the class description, or another from the player's handbook or other sources.
Looking at mine, it on D&D Beyond,
Mm-hmm.
not sponsored. We all it's saying is rogues have many features in common, including their emphasis on perfecting their skills, their precise and deadly approach to combat, and their increasingly quick reflexes. But different rogues steer those talents in varying directions, embodied by their rogue archetypes. Your choice of archetype is a reflection of your focus, not necessarily an indication of your chosen profession, but a description of your preferred techniques. All that tells me is similar to what you just said in different language. It doesn't.
I
give me
found a list.
Where
I
did you-
can send you the so I just found it on rpgbot.net.
Okay,
Still
yeah.
not
If
sponsored.
you can drop that, drop that list into the Slack channel, I can pull it up. Thank you.
Yeah, and just for the viewers, Arcane Trickster, Assassin.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. So it's called your rogue archetype. So if you search rogue archetype,
Inquisitive.
So the two originals were Arcane Trickster and Assassin, which I'm surprised I remembered. And they're both really good. When we were playing, when the 5e first came out, I believe Rogue was one of the best out of the box classes. Assassin and Arcane Trickster are both great. The big difference is Arcane Trickster pushes into magic, where Assassin pushes it more into what you've been doing. So then there's a bunch in Xanathar's Guide. I don't have currently with me, but I own all the books that it looks like Rogue got their different archetypes.
Okay.
So if you see one and you can't find the material online, I could always send you pictures of the book.
That's
I
good.
know which one I would be in real life, but my character probably wouldn't.
What was that?
Phantom sounds cool.
Which one?
Phantom. It's like I see dead people type shit. Like
Yeah.
necromancer.
Which again, you could
So-
push into, and we'll figure out how to tie it in, right?
Because
We can always.
she's already got magic leaning anyway, so it seems
Right.
like that would make more sense. Makes more sense if just based on the two basic ones, I would be more assassin.
Yeah, well, but I don't know. I feel like the arcane trickster thiefy stuff makes more sense for her. I'm just saying, me as a person,
Yeah.
I would definitely be a phantom rogue. I mean, I don't think there's any question there.
Phantom
I
Rogue
don't
would be
know.
a great name for a band.
Or like a Star Wars sequel or
Yeah.
prequel.
Scout. That's another one.
So
Patrick,
you and
were you
I will
able
have
to
to
find-
just do. You and I will have to level my character offline, and then next time we'll come back. I'll be.
Yeah.
There's just so much to read that I don't think I could do this online because there's more than I even realized that
No
there
worries.
was.
Yeah.
Soul knife, like
Level 3 is a big jump for everybody. Patrick, what have you found so far? Did you find College of Swords?
to
I
be fair,
did.
you warned us and I just didn't
It's okay.
see it until
I'm
now.
actually probably more interested in College of Valor.
Comes with better badges.
It does seem nice. So it's gonna improve. I think for our group, I think that it will give me something. It significantly improves AC because I think I get medium armor. I don't know. I have to read through all the stuff that it comes with, but I think having gone through all the colleges, College of Valor sounds the most exciting to me.
Cool. So yeah, so everyone's gonna stick with just doing level 3. Everyone's gonna keep the characters they've been playing, and we'll let Tracy know all this too. So the big things for us, and we'll probably wrap up a little early tonight, is before the next 2 weeks, you guys just need to lock that in, right? Level 3 is big. If you come in with level 2, it's just you're gonna have a harder time. Any supplement books, if you decide not to do Player's Handbook, I can help you with. But yeah, I would just take time, like think about what this gives you and how it would change you. In 3 months on this ship, it would be fair to say your character at its core will be a little different than it is right now. So with you picking your subclass, your archetype, your college, thinking about like what does that mean? Like what does 3 months on this new ship mean for my character, with more maybe accepting in ways, maybe less accepting in others, and like what do I learn from that?
That's a good point. Is like I'm thinking a little more past of what she would have had available versus now being in a space where she's finally comfortable and like seeing what can like come from it. So
And other things I would also mention, like Andrew was saying, his selection could give him access to new items like medium armor. And that's other stuff you could get on this station, right? So come in with a big, all right, this is the class I want. These are the things I think I want to unlock. And these are the things that I would need to help make that happen. And that's all stuff that could happen over these last 3 months.
cool.
Does that make sense for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
feeling good about it.
Cool. Then I think for today, we could probably end, 15 minutes early.
We got
Thank you.
homework.
Yeah. Oh yeah. D&D, always homework, always math and homework. Thank you everyone for watching and sticking around with us. Again, as we said, you're gonna be able to watch Star Wars stuff on the M of One YouTube soon. You're also going to have some fun art stuff. You're going to have past episodes of D&D. There's 2 art things. One's like a little secret, but one's drawing board with Brian Reed. So that's going to come up if you didn't catch it live.
That's not his name.
It is his name.
Oh, Doc.
His name
You
is
were
Brian.
doing.
Don't call him that. He doesn't
I know.
deserve that
Phenomenal
name.
I'm
job.
also wondering if Patrick even realized that his name was Brian.
I like
So
Doc
I-
Redicus. That's what I
Read
call
again.
him.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming to the M of One YouTube, and as always, Mondays and Thursdays here on Twitch. So subscribe, follow, get on the Instagram, and so you get to see all of the posts when we let people know this stuff is coming.
And starting, it's either 1 week or 2 weeks from now, they're all already scheduled. But hot seats are coming out. The interviews from Creative South through the podcast. They're starting with Jason Craig, followed by Dan Lee, followed by Bob Ewing, followed by Lenny Terenzi, and then more, and then more, and then more. But I think there's like 15 or so of those that are going to be coming
All the
out
greats.
At the beginning and the end of each week. And again, that starts, I think, 2 weeks from now is when that starts. So
Perfect.
much stuff.
So
Thanks
much.
for everyone. Thanks for everyone complaining. Andrew, you want to start us off?
Yeah. I'm Andrew.
Well, I'm Patrick.
And
I'm
this is the
Ray.
wrong show.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You can find me at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's on all the different platforms.
You can find me
Right.
nowhere.
Flame. Inked flame.
And I'm at Wilchurin on Instagram.
For
thanks
Tracy
for-
Ching.
All right, guys, let's call it a night. Everyone, have a great night. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hopefully with the full
Bye.
party.
Sweet
Hopefully
dreams.
with the full party.
Ma.